Jesus Christ, this woman doesn't know how to comfort the people under her power. Fuck. From Russia with Love, minute 18. I'm Brian,
And I'm Brad.
and this is the podcast where we get real uncomfortable sometimes, breaking down the longest, smoothest, most suave, debonair spy franchise there is, and shake it out 1 minute at a time, never stirred, because this is Bond. Minute Bond, what the fuck? Or Bond. Sorry, you're supposed to say Minute Bond. My bad. Bond.
Minute Bond? Yes, ma'am.
Don't. Okay. I was like, don't talk like I'm about to hit you. They don't know that we're on a Zoom call. Oh, what happened to this minute? Fuck.
Ooh, some serious uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know nowadays in 2022 it is a little bit more accepted, but I don't know how accepted, the LGBTQ plus community was back then. And she is laying on some moves. Colonel Comrade Kleb.
Do you think number 3 is not heterosexual?
I don't know. She seemed very comfortable putting her hand on Tasha's leg there. She seemed very, very comfortable doing so. And she just like drops it on there. You could see the reaction from her face as it's like uncomfortable, unease, not like a mother comforting a child, but like she feels like she's getting hit on because she moves her leg and then uncrosses her legs to try and move her hand away. Number 3 is basically kind of laying down, this is what we're gonna need you to do, and whether you like it or not, because if you don't do it, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I took it as, on my first watch, I took it as this is what we're gonna want you to do, like this is the kind of thing. But I just definitely, you pointed out, she could definitely be taking advantage of the fact that she can illustrate it that way.
Yeah.
She might be doing it for her own pleasures and whatnot.
Yeah, because I know Russia nowadays is pretty strict about heterosexual, and yeah, so I don't know how strict they were back in the 60s, but I mean, if they're as strict as they were now, I would assume so. I don't think they regress that far back.
Hell,
But
they're so restrictive that there's hundreds of protesters who've been protesting the invasion of Ukraine, and they're all just going to jail.
yeah, being arrested. So who do you think? She hands her a picture and says, basically, could you seduce this man? Who do you think that picture is of? Because we've got a couple viable candidates at this point.
I would have just said Bond if you hadn't asked.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking for your opinion because we also do have Buff and stuff who we know is going to be a part of this mission.
Yeah, but why would she need to? Oh, okay. From now on, you will do anything he says. But he's just supposed to be a mindless drone,
But is he?
Or you know what I mean? Like someone
obviously has him doing other things.
Someone who prioritizes what he's told to do over his own thoughts.
Yeah.
So
but you could be giving Buff and stuff her to try and be his pawn piece.
Fair enough. I have no idea. I would have gone with Bond, especially with for such a simple, delightful duty. But yeah, anything he tells you, or from now on you'll do anything he says. So yeah, that wouldn't make much sense if she had to first ingratiate herself with Bond and then do that. Good point. I have no idea. I mean, let's see. All the people we've seen, maybe, and primarily because you didn't mention him, maybe number 5.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about number 5. Yeah, he definitely could be the guy who made up the plan. For anybody that doesn't remember number 5, he was the ingenious plan builder of this entire movie.
Yeah, chess champion. But yeah, this minute made me remember how Bond treated Madame So. Was it the double agent or the secretary in the government house of Jamaica?
Dr. No.
Yeah, when he found out she was a double agent and then proceeded to rape her,
enforce his will.
I mean, that's what happened. She was doing everything subtle she could to avoid sexual congress with him because she expected him to be dead. She put on nail varnish. She like pulled away and pushed and said please when he first made his move. And yeah, what's reminding me of this probably the fucking power dynamic where she can't ultimately say no to her touching her and telling her she's gonna
advances.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially when she's already threatened to kill her. Just you either got to do this or you're dying here in this room. Your choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a choice.
Yeah, I will say, no, I'm gonna go back to Bond because her response was perhaps if he was kind and good towards me, which I like.
Yeah,
she's got her priorities straight.
Still could be buff and stuff. He's a handsome, strapping young man with a 8-pack and a blonde hairdo.
Yeah, but you also told me you love going into the granny shift and Discord and riling things up by saying like not every Star Wars movie's good. Stirring the pot, you've said that's how you put it. So
yeah, I may do that from time to time. Just
there's always a possibility you're just fucking with me.
I also don't want to just like tell you the entire plot of this movie, so I want to make sure. I want to see what you say. Yeah. I mean, we're early enough in this movie that we 18 minutes in, still have yet to see Bond. 2, yeah, just to throw different ideas at you, see what sticks, see what doesn't. Sometimes I'll give you the right answer, sometimes I won't. This is a minute by minute podcast, so I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to throw you off a game, throw you a red herring from time to time.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now with like if this was the first Bond movie, I would say that the director, and all I'd seen is up to this point, I would say, oh man, that this director is like great for his actresses. Must be, it's showing a nuanced take and like she's disgusted by these advances. It sends a certain message that about her, that she's saying like this power dynamic is abuse. But then the last movie had our hero doing it. So I'm just like, I would just want to be inside the minds of the creators and be like, what brought you here? Because there's so much nuance. Normally, if you just, I think our most popular, arguably sexist, arguably racist, or being fine with doing those things director is Michael Bay. And he doesn't have the ladies protest, so like, which is what I would assume a sexist director would be. You'd just be like, no, do the sex scene and like it. You know what I mean though? And there's so much more nuance in these scenes of those power dynamics that I'm like, how'd you put all that nuance in and then still end up with, at least in Dr. No, the result you ended up with?
Right. Yeah. But then to take this and completely swap it backwards by not engaging in those advances. And she pulls back, Agent 3 pulls back once she kind of realizes that her advances aren't getting her very far. At least to this point. I mean, she had her hand on her legs, she undid her legs, so then she puts her hand back onto her cane or whatever she's holding in her hands.
Yeah.
She whips the side of the chair as probably a little bit of anger, but also, to make sure she's got her undivided attention.
Yeah, to like emphasize her threat.
Yeah, and prove that she'll act on it if need be. Do you think Agent 3 is a little bit jealous that she doesn't get to do this job?
I was just gonna say, if I'm being optimistic, then I'd say that she's like, oh, I'm middle-aged, I'm not his type,
Buff and stuff.
Stop. She already had hands on Buff and stuff. She could probably in a
she threw hands, didn't have her hands. She threw hands on.
In an R-rated version of this, she would have a very disturbing girl with the dragon tattoo-esque scene with Buff and stuff. Number 3. But,
thank you, Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah, both Craig movies. Yep. Although he's not in the scene I'm talking about, and anyone who's seen that movie is so yeah, I was just gonna say maybe that last part when her saying simple delightful duty is like jealousy.
Yeah, knowing that she's not fit for this job, but would like to chance to do it, but knows that ultimately it's not for the good of the team. Yeah. If you were going to seduce Kim Kardashian for a chance, you probably wouldn't send Pete Davidson. I don't know how that works out, but it just does.
Pete Davidson seems like a solid enough person. I mean, just based on how his exes have talked about him. you know,
Yeah.
especially Ariana Grande, who fucking broke up with him because he started saying weird shit and sue me. And then later, when everyone thought he was about to commit suicide, she like shows up at his door and is like, "Hey, I'm outside. I know we're not together, but so I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
good
that's
for
'cause
Pete Davidson. I don't think
she went
highly.
she went through that one time, so she kind of knows how that feels
What do you mean?
with Mac Miller.
Oh, okay. I don't think too highly of the Kardashian clan for all the obvious reasons. I think much less of Kanye as a person. You know, not justifying his harassment against her, but if I was Pete Davidson, I'd be like, not because of Kanye, but because I personally, as if, look at me talking as if that's even a fucking possibility. I'll just shut up my stupid misogyny. All right, just to be nice, I applaud Kim Kardashian for using her fame to get some wrongfully imprisoned people out of jail. Hats off to you. But stop insulting your other female entrepreneurs when you had a fucking platform to start with.
And trust fund and a
Yeah.
silver spoon.
And a lot of people saying that you didn't pay them or paid them so little they couldn't get groceries anywhere but the dollar store. And they were working all day, doubles all day, even weekends. So get off your high horse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, this is very interesting
Yeah.
how the story is unfolding. It's definitely you put a gun to my head and be like, put down the most barest outline of the story that you could imagine. You can be as generic as like Bond does something Bond, and then bad guy attacks. Bond girl comes in, sexy, and I would have fucked up this whole first 20 minutes of the structure.
Yeah, because we're at minute 18 and we're still zero real Bond.
Yeah. So this is cool. And I think they're doing a lot of great texture. I'm assuming that at like the 30-minute mark, this movie is just gonna all the way to the end, not taking a second to stop for I have no idea. But with with this much groundwork, they really can just fly by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, because they built the bad guys and the motivation and stuff like that up. They built some character arcs. So now it's just cashing in on them.
Cool.
But we will see next time. My name is Brad.
I'm Brian.
And that was a money.
Every penny of it.
I had a pin on my desk. I was playing with it, stabbing my mouse mat thing, and then I dropped it. So now I've got a pin on the floor.
Oh no, I hope you don't have carpet. Oh, you got it? Okay.
I do have carpet.
And the only reason I said that is
yellow.
Oh. The only reason I said that was because I imagined it would be a lot easier for the carpet to prop it up. At least it was a tack. I thought it was just like it would be like a needle, one that you put in like a pin cushion.
That would suck.
Yeah. You okay, Maddie? Okay.
Please don't die.